Most species see a 60-meter, deep-sea monster and run. We named her Bertha, fed her leftover cinnamon rolls, and adopted her entire family. So when corporate poachers showed up to steal her eggs, they didn't realize they were starting a war with the local neighborhood association and the entire United Earth Navy. Chapter 1. The Mind in the Deep. The galaxy is full of quiet places, but none are quite as deafening as Trench 9 on the ocean world of Subterra 6. 2,000 meters below the surface, the water pressure is enough to turn a standard titanium hull into a crumpled soda can in seconds. It is a pitch-black, freezing void, illuminated only by the eerie, pulsing bioluminescence of things that should not exist. But for the crew of Outpost Hadal, a remote deep-sea geothermal research station run by Earth's Expeditionary Force, it was home. And for the last 3 months, they hadn't been alone. Inside the primary observation dome, Dr. Eris, the base's chief engineer, clutched his coffee mug as the liquid rippled.
Elena!
Eris called out, his voice echoing in the metallic lab.
She's resting on vent 4 again. The core temperature is spiking. If she doesn't move her massive tail off the exhaust, the steam turbine is going to choke.
Commander Elena, a retired Special Forces combat diver turned marine ecologist, didn't look up from her microscope. She was used to it. She adjusted the lens focus on a slide of deep-sea microflora before slowly standing up.
She's just cold, Eris.
Elena said, her voice calm and steady. The voice of a woman who had faced down planetary blockades and plasma fire during her military days.
Reroute the auxiliary heat to the secondary vents. Let her have her spot.
She's 60 meters of armored muscle, claws, and tentacles, Elena.
Eris muttered, though there was no real heat in his voice.
We're running a multi-billion-dollar scientific facility, not a heated blanket service for S-class leviathans.
She pays her rent.
Corporal Vance chimed in from the security console, leaning back in his chair with a smirk.
Did you forget yesterday? A pack of reef sharks tried to chew through our external fiber optic cables. Bertha literally swatted them into paste. She's better than our automated turrets.
Elena walked toward the massive, curved reinforced glass of the observation deck. The ocean outside was a wall of blackness, but as she approached, the dark water began to glow with a soft, ethereal cyan light. A massive, majestic form drifted into the floodlights. It looked like a cross between an ancient, heavily armored sea dragon and a gentle leviathan, with long, flowing tendrils that drifted gracefully in the current. She possessed 4 glowing, intelligent eyes that didn't look like those of a wild beast. They looked like ancient, deep wells of wisdom. It was Bertha, an S-class Emperor Leviathan. And then, inside Elena's head, a voice echoed. It didn't use words, not exactly. It was a projection of thoughts, warm and resonant, like a song played on a cello in an empty hall.
The warm water. It eases the ache in my clutch. Thank you, little spark.
Elena smiled, pressing her hand against the cold, thick glass. Only a few humans, those with specific neural implants from military service, could receive these telepathic projections. To Eris and Vance, Bertha was just making low, rumbling, clicking sounds. But to Elena, she was a neighbor.
You're welcome, Bertha.
Elena projected back, centering her thoughts.
How are the little ones?
A feeling of profound maternal exhaustion washed over Elena's mind. A telepathic broadcast from the giant creature. Outside, Bertha slowly rolled onto her side, exposing her massive, heavily swollen underbelly, where dozens of faint, glowing eggs could be seen shifting beneath her translucent armor plates.
They are restless. They seek the light. But the dark water is full of hunger. I am tired, Elena. I cannot run much longer.
She's getting closer to her term.
Sarah, the comms officer, said quietly, walking up next to Elena and looking at the biotelemetry on her tablet.
Our sonar scans show her eggshells are finally hardening, but her energy levels are down 40%. If she has to defend herself right now.
She won't have to,
Elena said, her voice dropping its casual tone, replaced by the hard edge of a commander.
We've got her back. Vance, get the cargo crane ready. Let's drop her the calcium supplements.
On it, boss.
Vance said, immediately tapping his console. Outside, the station's massive mechanical arm swung out into the dark water, holding a heavy crate packed with nutrient-dense, calcium-rich blocks the crew had synthesized. Bertha opened her massive, cavernous mouth, gently sucking in the crate with a delicate precision that defied her terrifying size. For a moment, in the deep, silent dark of the trench, there was peace. A massive, ancient leviathan and a handful of human scientists, living in a quiet, warm covenant. But high above them, breaking through the planet's stormy atmosphere, a shadow was descending. A heavily armed, cloaked dreadnought belonging to the Galactic Poaching Syndicate had just picked up a massive biological heat signature in Trench 9. An S-class pregnant emperor, a prize worth more than a small solar system. And they had no idea the primitive humans down there had already claimed her as family. Chapter 2. The Cradle in the Dark. If the galaxy knew what was resting beneath the geothermal vents of Trench 9, they would have sent a battle fleet. To the modern stellar empires, an Emperor-class Leviathan is a myth from a forgotten epoch, a creature capable of bending planetary ecosystems to its will, whose biological components could fund an entire sector's war effort. But down in the crushing dark, Bertha wasn't a god, nor was she a weapon. She was a tired, heavy mother, and her nursery was a small patch of warmed water heated by a human reactor. In the dry warmth of the observation deck, Elena sat cross-legged on the floor, her back resting against the thick, reinforced glass. Outside, just inches away on the other side of the viewport, Bertha lay perfectly still. The ancient Leviathan had nestled her colossal body into the seabed, her massive, armored snout resting on the rocky ledge right next to the window. One of Bertha's giant, glowing amber eyes, easily twice the size of Elena, was focused entirely on the human.
The sound you send into the water.
Bertha's telepathic voice drifted into Elena's mind, slow and heavy, carrying the deep resonance of a gentle tide.
It has a shape, like the currents of the shallow reefs. Structured. Calm.
Elena chuckled softly, not opening her eyes.
It's Chopin. Bertha. A human composer from a long time ago. He lived on a world with no glowing trenches, but he knew a lot about quiet nights.
A good world.
The Leviathan rumbled, a wave of peaceful, nostalgic warmth passing through the mental link.
I can feel the small hearts beating inside me, Elena. They are growing strong from the stone food your pack gave me. But the time is very close. When the eggs leave my body, I will be weak. I will have to sleep for 3 sun cycles to recover my spirit.
Then you'll sleep.
Elena projected back, her mental tone hardening with absolute certainty.
My pack will watch the perimeter. No one is getting down here.
Hey, Commander.
Corporal Vance's voice broke her concentration. He was standing at the entrance of the dome, holding a data pad and 2 self-heating military ration pouches. He tossed one to her.
Thought you might want something that doesn't taste like deep-sea algae.
Elena caught the pouch, opening her eyes.
Thanks, Vance. How's the perimeter looking?
Vance walked over to the glass, looking out at the massive, glowing form of the Leviathan. He casually reached out and patted the cold glass right where Bertha's snout rested. Bertha didn't flinch. She merely let out a low, structural clicking sound that made the water around her ripple with tiny bubbles.
The automated sensor net is clean.
Vance said, leaning his shoulder against the pane.
But Eris is losing his mind. He spent the last 4 hours manually tuning the thermal output of Vent 4. He's got it down to a perfect, steady 24.2 degrees. He says if Bertha's eggs get even a fraction of a degree colder, their biological shells might calcify too early. Who knew a grumpy combat engineer would make such an obsessive nanny?
Elena took a bite of her ration, smiling.
Eris likes systems that work. Right now, Bertha is the most important system we have.
Yeah, well, the kid is pretty invested too.
Vance nodded toward the lower research deck. Through the grated metal floor, Elena could see Dr. Eris and Sarah working at the telemetry station. Sarah was adjusting a localized acoustic dampening field. She had realized that the high-frequency pings from the base's standard sonar were giving Bertha mild headaches. She had spent her entire off-shift rewriting the station's sonar algorithms to operate on a completely silent, low-frequency passive sweep. They weren't just tolerating the giant creature anymore. They had built a cradle for her. Suddenly, the warm, ambient classical music over the Hydra speakers cut out with a sharp, static pop. Inside Elena's head, the peaceful connection with Bertha shattered. A sudden, sharp spike of absolute terror and ancient, defensive fury flooded her mind, so intense it made her gasp and drop her ration pouch.
Danger. The metal teeth are coming from the sky. They carry the scent of ash and cold blood.
Bertha's mental voice screamed, her massive form instantly coiled, her 4 amber eyes flashing a violent, warning crimson.
Elena,
Sarah's voice crackled over the comms, tense and frantic.
we've got a massive thermal anomaly dropping rapidly from the upper stratosphere. Oh god, it's huge. It's a cloaked dreadnought, and they just dropped 12 high-speed, military-grade submersibles directly into our trench.
Vance was already moving, his casual demeanor evaporating in a split second. He sprinted to the tactical console, his fingers flying across the holographic interface.
Active targeting locks detected.
Vance yelled.
They aren't scanning the base. They're tracking Bertha's specific biosignature. Commander, they've got heavy capture harpoons loaded. They're coming to harvest her.
Elena stood up, her face completely expressionless, her eyes locking onto the dark, churning water outside the glass. The peaceful, quiet sanctuary of Trench 9 was about to become a war zone. She pressed her hand hard against the glass, sending a wave of absolute, unshakable calm and cold, military resolve directly into Bertha's panicked mind.
Stay low in the vent, Bertha. Keep the eggs warm.
Elena ordered, her voice in the mental link echoing with the authority of a seasoned combat commander.
You protected our base. Now, it's our turn to protect your nest.
She turned to Vance and the crew, her voice cutting through the rising alarms like a blade.
Eris, cut the civilian power grid. Lock down the reactor and route 100% of our auxiliary output to the external defensive hull plates and the acoustic turrets. Sarah, flood the local frequencies. I want their targeting systems blind and deaf. Vance.
Elena cracked her knuckles, a cold, dangerous smile spreading across her face.
Suit up. Let's go introduce ourselves to the neighbors.
Chapter 3, The Vanguard of Hadal. To the Galactic Poaching Syndicate, a human-occupied planet was usually a soft target. Humans were considered fragile, air-breathing primitives who clung to flat surfaces and feared the deep dark. But there is a reason Earth's military has an entire elite division dedicated to combat diving. When you grow up on a planet that is 70% water, you don't fear the abyss. You conquer it. And the Syndicate was about to learn that when you corner a human soldier in her own backyard, she doesn't just bite back, she drags you into the dark. Deep in the station's lower wet dock, the air was thick with the smell of hydraulic fluid and ozone. Elena stood as the heavy mechanical arm of the gantry locked the chest piece of her specialized cachalot-class military dive rig into place. It wasn't a clumsy civilian hardsuit. It was a sleek, jet-black titanium exoskeleton designed for deep-sea black ops. 2 high-output thruster blocks were mounted on her shoulders, and a localized gravity anchor was strapped to her waist. Mounted on her right forearm was a heavy-duty, industrial-grade plasma torch, recalibrated to burn hot enough to slice through starship hulls even under thousands of pounds of ocean pressure. Vance was already suited up next to her, checking the digital feed of his handheld hydro-torpedo launcher.
Comms check.
Elena's voice cut through the localized radio channel, flat and devoid of any fear.
Loud and clear, Commander.
Sarah's voice crackled in her ear from the command deck.
The poachers have formed a perimeter around the trench. They've deployed 3 heavy capture subs and 9 scout drones. They're firing high-frequency acoustic disruptors to paralyze Bertha. Her bioscans are spiking. She's in pain, Elena.
Inside Elena's mind, a chaotic, agonizing wave of psychic feedback confirmed Sarah's words. Bertha's telepathic voice was a ragged, distorted scream of maternal panic.
The sting. The white noise in my mind. I cannot see my clutch. The dark is screaming, Elena.
Elena closed her eyes for a brief second, channeling her own mental energy into a sharp, focused beam of absolute, icy determination.
I am coming, Bertha. Hold your ground. Keep the eggs safe.
She opened her eyes, turning to Vance.
We use guerrilla tactics. The water is pitch black, and they don't know this trench. We take out their scout drones first to blind them, then we cut their heavy subs apart. Let's go.
With a hiss of her shoulder thrusters, Elena launched herself out into the open water of Trench 9. The cold was immediate, a crushing physical presence that fought against her suit's internal heating coils. But Elena ignored it. She ignited her gravity anchor, dropping like a stone into the deep ravine, using the sheer vertical cliffs of the trench as cover. Vance trailed behind her, a ghost in the dark. Ahead, The pitch-black water was sliced apart by the harsh, violent red searchlights of the poaching fleet.
2 scout drones approaching your 10 o'clock.
Sarah warned over the comms.
They're sweeping the rock face.
I see them.
Elena muttered. She let her suit drift flush against the basalt wall of the trench, blending into the shadows. As the first alien scout drone passed by, its mechanical optical sensor spinning in search of the Leviathan, Elena fired her shoulder thrusters. She bridged the gap in a split second. Her heavy titanium fist slammed into the drone's sensory array, shattering the lens. Before the drone's automated systems could react, she brought her right arm up. The bright orange plasma torch flared to life, cutting through the water with blinding intensity. With one clean, practiced sweep, Elena sliced the drone's thruster assembly clean off. The crippled alien machine immediately began to tumble into the crushing depths below, its red warning lights fading into the dark.
1 down.
Elena reported.
Make that 3.
Vance's voice crackled. Through the dark, Elena saw 2 brilliant flashes of white light as Vance's Hydra torpedoes found their marks, detonating the remaining scout drones in a burst of bubbles and twisted metal.
They know we're here now.
Sarah warned.
The heavy capture subs are turning their searchlights toward your coordinates. They're preparing to deploy localized sonic nets.
Let them look.
Elena said, her eyes narrowing behind her visor.
Eris, are you ready with the welcome gift?
Always, Commander.
Eris's voice came through, filled with smug satisfaction.
Rerouting the primary geothermal exhaust. Now.
Down in the depths, the base's massive thermal vents suddenly roared to life. A colossal plume of superheated water and dense mineral silt blasted into the trench. It didn't harm Bertha. She was built to withstand volcanic heat, but it instantly turned the clear water of the trench into a swirling, chaotic soup of boiling currents and blinding silt. The Poachers' advanced sonar arrays, built for cold vacuum, went completely haywire, registering thousands of false targets. Elena smirked.
Perfect. Vance, take the left flank. I'm going for the lead sub. Let's show these bastards how humans do eviction.
Chapter 4. The Tiamat Protocol. To Commander Tkalin of the Syndicate Extraction Fleet, humans were a statistical anomaly, fragile, soft-skinned creatures who belonged on the surface. When his submersibles dropped into Trench 9, he didn't even calculate them as a threat. His mission was simple: deploy the high-voltage containment net, paralyze the S-class Emperor Leviathan, and harvest the clutch. He expected the humans to watch helplessly from their glass dome. He had no idea that the quiet marine biologist leading the station had spent 15 years commanding elite deep-sea Black Ops teams for the Earth Federation. And humans do not like uninvited guests in their backyard. Inside the bridge of the Syndicate's lead dread sub, the displays were perfect. A massive, glowing violet grid had successfully snapped shut around Bertha's armored midsection, discharging millions of volts of localized neurodisruptive currents.
Asset secured.
The Poacher pilot shouted, a vicious grin on his reptilian face.
The Leviathan's neural activity is dropping. She's pinned against the trench floor.
Tkalin watched the view screen, watching the massive creature writhe in silence.
Excellent. Deploy the harvesting drones. Extract the eggs before the local environment destabilizes.
But inside the dark, murky waters, the containment net wasn't the only thing humming with power.
Commander.
The Poacher comms officer panicked, his scales flaring.
The human outpost just changed signatures. It's not a civilian research pod. They just dropped heavy armor plating over their windows and raised military-grade acoustic arrays. We are being painted by active targeting locks.
Over the comms, Elena's voice didn't cut into the Poacher's channels. She simply overrode their entire audio matrix, her tone freezing cold.
Syndicate vessel, you are in direct violation of Earth territorial waters and local ecological sanctuary laws.
Elena stated calmly.
You have 30 seconds to cut the power to that net, or we will dismantle your fleet piece by piece.
Tkalin let out a harsh, barking laugh.
You have no weapons down here, hairless ape. We have 3 heavy dread subs. You are a handful of scientists in a tin can.
Sarah, cut the music.
Elena ordered on her private channel.
Eris, execute the Tiamat protocol.
The Poachers expected standard laser fire. Instead, they got human engineering. From the base of Outpost Hadal for specialized high-pressure excavation drones, normally used for drilling through tectonic plates, launched directly toward the Syndicate's formation. They weren't missiles, they were solid titanium blocks powered by localized gravity drives. The first drone slammed into the Syndicate's starboard sub, its rotating diamond-tipped drill bit grinding through the alien shields and tearing into the main hull in less than 3 seconds. The immense ocean pressure took care of the rest, imploding the vessel instantly into a crushed ball of scrap metal.
Starboard sub lost.
The pilot screamed, his hands shaking on the controls.
They aren't shooting at us, sir. They're collapsing the environment on us.
Before Colin could answer, a shadow ghosted past his bridge window. It was Elena, flanked by Vance. Using the thermal plume from the vents as a visual shield, they had closed the distance in their Black Ops combat rigs. Elena didn't hesitate. She fired a localized EMP harpoon straight into the primary power generator of the containment net. Inside Elena's mind, the painful static vanished. The mental link reconnected, and she felt the exact moment Bertha's labor reached its absolute peak, fueled by a surge of raw, defensive adrenaline.
Elena. The cradle is broken. The little ones. They are coming now.
Bertha's voice boomed in her mind, a majestic, echoing wave of pure maternal power.
Then clear the room, Bertha.
Elena projected back, executing a tight thruster turn to pull herself and Vance away from the zone.
The floor is yours.
Free from the net, the 60-meter Emperor Leviathan didn't run. She turned. Her 4 amber eyes flared with a brilliant, blinding cyan light that illuminated the entire trench. With a single, colossal sweep of her armored tail, she struck the second Syndicate submarine, driving it straight into the path of Eris's remaining excavation drones. Colin's ship was left completely alone, its systems short-circuiting from Elena's EMP blast, floating helplessly in the dark. Through the murky, bubbling water, Colin watched the 2 human divers drift perfectly still in front of his view screen. Elena raised her forearm, igniting her bright orange plasma torch for just a second, a silent, glowing warning. Above them, Bertha coiled her massive body around the geothermal vents, her bioluminescence shifting into a soft, golden nursery glow as the first of her massive, luminous eggs began to settle safely into the warm thermal currents. The poachers hadn't just failed a hunt. They had walked into a fortified bunker guarded by a mother and her pack. Chapter 5, The Midwife's Armor. The silence that follows a deep-sea battle is not peaceful. It is heavy, suffocating, and thick with the taste of ozone and churning silt. 2,000 meters below the surface, the wreckage of a multi-million credit poaching syndicate was already being claimed by the abyss, their shattered hulls groaning as the immense atmospheric pressure slowly flattened them into the basalt floor of Trench 9. Inside her Black Ops combat suit, Commander Elena listened to the ragged sound of her own breathing. Her thruster blocks hummed a low, vibrating note against her shoulders, keeping her suspended in the pitch-black void. The bright orange glow of her plasma torch had died down, leaving only the cold, sharp blue of her suit's optical visor to cut through the dark.
Vance.
Elena's voice was a low rasp over the comms, tight with adrenaline.
Status.
Visual confirmation on the 3rd Dread Sub, Commander.
Corporal Vance replied, his voice shaking slightly as his suit drifted a few dozen meters away.
It's pinned under the ridge. The structural frame is compromised. They aren't going anywhere. But, Elena, look at Bertha.
Elena turned her thrusters, pivoting toward the primary geothermal vent. The protective smoke screen of volcanic silt was beginning to settle, revealing the colossal form of the Emperor Leviathan. Bertha was exhausted. Her massive, 60-meter armored body was draped heavily across the rocky seabed, her glowing cyan tendrils fraying into the current like dying embers. The violent surge of adrenaline that had allowed her to crush the remaining poachers had faded, leaving her entirely vulnerable. Her 4 amber eyes were half closed, dulling from their brilliant gold to a hazy, faint yellow. And inside Elena's mind, the telepathic link wasn't a song anymore. It was a faint, frantic whisper, trembling with a primal, maternal fear.
Elena. The dark is cold. The strength has left my bones. The little sparks. They are heavy. They cannot find the warmth.
Sarah. Eris.
Elena barked into the radio, ignoring the warnings flashing on her own HUD about her suit's depleted oxygen cells.
What is the vent temperature? She's losing core heat.
The reactor bypass took a hit when we executed the protocol. Commander.
Dr. Eris answered, his usual sarcastic tone replaced by sheer panic.
The exhaust plume at Vent 4 dropped to 14 degrees Celsius. It's too cold. If her core drops any lower, the delivery will fail. She doesn't have the energy to push the clutch into the thermal current.
Can you manually override the primary baffle?
Elena demanded, already pushing her thrusters to the maximum, diving toward the massive, resting head of the Leviathan.
Not from inside the station.
Eris groaned.
The mechanical override valve is on the external hull, right beneath the reactor underbelly. But the pressure down there right now with the silt buildup is highly unstable. It's suicide to go under the base without a heavy repair rig.
Vance, get down to that valve.
Elena ordered without hesitation.
Ma'am, what about you?
Vance asked, his locator beacon shifting as he prepared to dive toward the base's lower structure.
I'm staying with her.
Elena said. Elena cut her thrusters, letting the localized gravity anchor her to the massive creature's skull. To an outside observer, she looked like a speck of dust sitting on a sleeping dragon. She knelt down, placing both her heavily armored titanium gloves flat against the rough, ancient skin right between Bertha's main sensory tendrils. She closed her eyes, shutting out the alarms, shutting out the pitch-black ocean, and poured every ounce of her focus into the neural implant at the base of her skull. She didn't just send words, she projected her own physiological state, the steady, rhythmic beat of her human heart, the warm, unyielding stubbornness of human survival.
I am right here, Bertha.
Elena projected, her mental voice ringing out like a steady beacon in the dark.
Look at me. Listen to my pack. We have the line. You are not alone in the dark.
The giant Leviathan's massive eye rolled upward, focusing entirely on the tiny, black and gold armored figure perched on her forehead. A low, trembling click vibrated through the skin of the beast, transferring directly into Elena's suit.
Little spark. Your fire is small, but it is so bright.
Bertha's mind rumbled back, a faint touch of awe cutting through the exhaustion.
The first one. It breaks the shell. Help me hold the light.
Elena!
Sarah's voice broke through the comms, breathless.
The sonar is picking up deep muscular contractions along Bertha's lower plates. The clutch is moving, but the ambient water is still dropping. Vance, where is that valve?
I'm at the junction.
Vance's voice crackled through intense static as he fought the turbulent currents beneath the station.
The manual wheel is seized by mineral crust. I'm applying hydraulic pressure. Come on, you rusted piece of shit. Turn.
Outside the glass of the station's lower dome, Eris and Sarah watched the monitors in breathless agony. On the seabed, the massive plates along Bertha's underside began to part, glowing with an intense, internal golden light. The first egg, a massive, translucent sphere the size of a ground transport, pulsing with a brilliant, internal neon embryo, began to slide into the freezing dark of the trench. But the water was too cold. The egg didn't rise toward the safety of the upper current. It began to drift sideways toward the jagged, freezing shadows of the open ravine where the volcanic heat couldn't reach it. Elena opened her eyes. She saw the egg drifting. She saw the mother too weak to reach it.
Not on my watch.
Elena muttered. She unhitched her gravity anchor from Bertha's head, fired her shoulder thrusters, and plunged straight into the path of the drifting, luminous egg, putting her own armored body between the fragile new life and the crushing, freezing void. Chapter 6. The First Cry of the Abyss. A translucent shell floating in a deep-sea trench is more than just a biological structure. It is a hyperdelicate ecosystem. At 2,000 meters down, the difference between life and death isn't measured in miles or hours. It is measured in fractions of a degree, and in the sheer willpower of a species that refuses to let the universe dictate who survives. Elena had survived the vacuum of the orbital wars, the searing plasma of frontline trenches, and the crushing gravity of rogue moons. But as she positioned her combat hardsuit directly against the massive, drifting sphere of Bertha's firstborn, she realized none of it compared to this. Elena braced her titanium boot soles against a jagged basalt pillar, throwing her armored arms forward to catch the massive, smooth curve of the egg. The shell felt strange through her hardsuit's tactile sensors, rubbery, vibrating with an intense, internal heat, yet rapidly stiffening from the freezing 4 degrees Celsius ocean current.
Vance.
Elena gasped, the telemetry on her visor flashing a critical warning as her suit's thruster core began to overheat.
I can't hold it against the drop-off for long. The current from the ravine is dragging the shell down. Turn that damn valve.
Inside the command dome, the crew was operating at a fever pitch. Eris was slammed against the structural glass, his hands pressed against the cold pane as he stared down into the abyss where Elena's locator beacon flickered like a dying star.
He's trying Elena.
Eris yelled over the channel.
The valve casing is completely fused with iron carbonate crust. If he forces it too hard with the hydraulic wrench, the entire manifold will shear off, and the core steam will vent straight into the station's substructure.
Down in the dark underbelly of Outpost Hadal, Vance was blinded by the turbulent, murky flow. His suit's external searchlights were reflecting off a thick cloud of iron-heavy silt. He couldn't see his own hands. He could only feel the massive, stubborn metal wheel of the bypass valve through his heavy mechanical gloves.
I'm not going to shear it.
Vance growled, his teeth grit so hard they texturally ground together over the comms.
But it needs more than hydraulic pressure. It needs pure human spite. Come on, you stupid piece of shit.
With a raw, straining yell, Vance slammed his suit's stabilizers to maximum, anchoring his frame to the main structural pillar of the base. He threw his entire weight against the wrench lever.
The valve is open.
Sarah screamed from the comms deck, her fingers flying across the environmental monitors.
Vent 4 temperature is climbing. 16 degrees, 20 degrees, 25 degrees. The thermal plume is expanding.
A massive, billowing wall of dark, mineral-rich warm water erupted from the base's lower exhaust. It hit the freezing trench current like a freight train, creating a massive, swirling thermal vortex. The immediate warmth caught the drifting egg just as it slipped from Elena's grip. Instead of sinking into the dead, crushing void of the deep ravine, the massive, glowing golden sphere was swept upward, bobbing gently in the warm, rising column of thermal water like a giant, luminous buoy. Elena fell backward against the rock face, her thrusters automatically dropping to idle as her suit's core cooled down. She looked up, her breathing heavy, watching the golden egg settle perfectly into the nursery zone right above the main vent. But the delivery wasn't over. Stimulated by the sudden, life-giving warmth of the vent, Bertha's massive lower plates parted completely. In a majestic, silent sequence, 8 more luminous, translucent golden eggs slid into the thermal plume. They rose gracefully, clustering together in the warm current like an array of glowing stars floating in the pitch-black deep. And then, the universe went completely quiet. Inside the mind of every human on the station who possessed a military neural implant, Elena, Vance, and Sarah, the heavy, exhausted mental silence of the trench didn't just break. It exploded. It wasn't words. It was a beautiful, overwhelming tsunami of pure, raw sensory input. The humans didn't just hear the newborns, they felt them. They felt the sudden, shocking sensation of water passing over new skin, the blinding awe of seeing the base's floodlights for the first time, and a profound, instinctive urge to find safety. And the moment the 9 baby embryos opened their golden eyes inside their shells, their telepathic minds didn't seek out their mother first. They reached out for the small, warm, stubborn fires that had held the dark away. Sarah fell to her knees on the command deck, her hands pressed to her temples, a bright, tearful laugh breaking from her lips.
Oh my God, they're imprinting on us. I can feel them. They think we're the pack.
Vance, still clinging to the rusted valve pipe beneath the station, let his head fall back against his suit's neck collar, his tough soldier's demeanor completely melting away as a wave of pure, childlike joy flooded his neural link.
They're warm, Commander. They're thanking us.
Vance, still clinging to the rusted valve pipe beneath the station, let his head fall back against his suit's neck collar, his tough soldier's demeanor completely melting away as a wave of pure, childlike joy flooded his neural link. Elena slowly floated up from the rock face, her black and gold combat suit drifting right into the center of the cluster of glowing golden eggs. Through the translucent shells, the tiny, miniature emperor leviathans were pressing their smooth faces against the inner membranes, their 4 small, golden eyes locked directly onto her visor, mimicking her small, drifting movements in the current. Above them, Bertha let out a long, deep, structural purr that rattled the floorboards of Outpost Hadal. Her telepathic voice returned, incredibly weak, but radiating a profound, unshakable peace.
They know your scent, little spark. They know the hands that held the dark. Sleep comes for me now. Guard the cradle until the sun cycles pass.
We've got the watch, Bertha.
Elena whispered aloud into the dark water, her hand gently touching the outer shell of the nearest egg.
Rest up. Your pack is on the line.
But as the crew immersed themselves in the cozy, overwhelming fluff of the telepathic nursery, Sarah's console on the command deck suddenly picked up a long-range, high-frequency encrypted transmission bouncing off the upper surface atmosphere. The poaching syndicate hadn't just sent 3 submarines. They had been the scouts for an entire corporate extraction fleet, and they were already descending. Chapter 7, The Line in the Basalt. The galaxy operates on a simple, ruthless equation, cost versus acquisition. For the megacorporations backing the galactic poaching syndicate, the loss of 3 Vanguard dreadsubs was an expensive variable, but not a disqualifying one. A mature Emperor Leviathan was worth a minor stellar system. A clutch of 9 pristine, unbroken newborns was worth enough to buy a seat on the High Directorate itself. They weren't going to walk away. They were just going to bring a bigger calculator. Inside the primary dome, the beautiful, bell-like chimes of the newborn Leviathans were suddenly drowned out by the harsh red flashing of the tactical grid. Sarah staggered back to her console, her fingers wiping away a lingering tear of joy as she slammed her hands onto the terminal.
Commander, Vance, get back inside the airlock right now.
Sarah's voice cracked over the comms, the warmth of the imprinting process instantly vaporizing into raw panic.
We've got multiple high-mass thermal signatures breaking the thermal layer at 800 meters. They're dropping fast.
Elena's eyes snapped open inside her helmet. The tiny baby Leviathan inside the egg nearest to her pulsed with a sudden, frightened spike of erratic violet light, sensing its protectors spiking adrenaline.
Sure. Easy, little spark.
Elena sent through the neural link, her mental voice instantly shifting from a gentle anchor to a cold, hard wall of military command.
Keep close to the warmth. The pack is on the baseline. Vance, move.
Elena ordered, firing her thrusters to break away from the glowing golden cluster.
Get into the forward defense hangar. Eris, what do we have left in the automated perimeter inventory?
Dr. Eris was already typing frantically, a cold sweat breaking out across his forehead.
Nothing designed to fight a corporate demolition fleet. Elena, we have 12 structural anchor mines used for stabilizing tectonic shelves, and the mining laser on the heavy loading mech. That's it. We're a research post, not a fortress.
Elena ripped her helmet off, her short hair damp with sweat, her expression chiseled out of pure flint. She strode directly to the main tactical holotable. Floating above the console were 6 crimson blocks descending through the water column.
They aren't submarines.
Vance muttered, his face turning pale under the red emergency lights as he dried his hands.
Those are Goliath-class deep-sea mining rigs. Armored hulls, heavy hydraulic claws designed to crack tectonic plates, and localized displacement shields to withstand the trench pressure. They aren't here to fight us. They're here to scoop up the entire seabed and drag it to the surface.
And Bertha?
Sarah asked, her hands trembling as she pointed toward the floor-to-ceiling viewport. Outside, the massive 60-meter Leviathan remained heavily draped across the warm basalt floor. Her glowing cyan lines had faded to a deep, dormant navy blue. Her giant breathing vents expanded and contracted at a fraction of their normal speed. The delivery of 9 apex embryos had left her in a profound, comatose state of maternal recovery. She wouldn't wake up for hours.
She carried the line in the last shift.
Elena said, her voice dropping into a low, terrifyingly calm register.
It's our turn to hold the deck.
She turned to Eris.
Hook the tectonic anchor mines to the station's secondary power grid. If those rigs cross the 200-meter perimeter, I want those mines detonated in a synchronized sequence. Use the shockwaves to destabilize their displacement shields.
Elena, that close to the base, the feedback loop could shatter our own structural dome.
Eris protested.
Then build a localized dampening field using the reactor exhaust.
Elena countered without missing a beat.
Vance, you and I are taking the external loading mechs. We deploy onto the lip of the ravine. We don't let a single mechanical claw touch this nursery.
A heavy, static-laced corporate broadcast suddenly hijacked every speaker on the station, the voice cold, synthesized, and utterly devoid of humanity.
Attention Earth Directorate Research Station Hadal. You are currently harboring unclassified, high-value planetary assets belonging to Sector Claim 09. Under corporate salvage protocols, you are ordered to power down all defense grids and vacate the external structure immediately. Non-compliance will result in total structural liquidation.
Elena walked over to the communications console, pushing Sarah gently aside. She slammed her palm onto the open-channel transmission key.
This is Commander Elena, Earth Directorate Special Forces, retired.
She said, her voice echoing out into the black ocean, carrying the weight of every drop of blood shed in the orbital wars.
I don't care about your salvage protocols, and I don't care about your board of directors.
She leaned in, her eyes reflecting the crimson emergency lights.
Look at your sonar telemetry very carefully. Look at the line of black basalt right at the edge of the geothermal vent. If a single one of your hulls crosses that line, you aren't entering a salvage zone. You are entering a graveyard. Try us.
She cut the transmission. She picked up her helmet, locking it back onto her collar with a sharp, pressurized hiss.
Vance.
Elena barked, her golden visor snapping down, erasing her face behind a cold metallic reflection.
To the hangars. Let's go show these corporate bastards how humans protect their neighbors.
Chapter 8. The Weight of the Water. There is a fundamental flaw in corporate military doctrine. It assumes every combatant operates on a scale of calculated risk. A corporation understands tactical retreats, resource preservation, and shifting margins. What it does not understand, what its algorithms can never accurately predict, is the absolute lunacy of human stubbornness when a line has been drawn in the sand. Or, in this case, a line in the volcanic basalt. Elena sat inside the cramped, vibrating cockpit of the station's heavy-duty cargo loader. This wasn't a sleek, military-grade stealth rig. It was an 11-ton block of reinforced titanium alloys, built to carry heavy turbine parts and withstand the absolute limits of oceanic pressure. It moved with a slow, grinding, deliberate pace, its giant hydraulic claws opening and closing with a low, menacing hiss of fluid pressure.
Vance, check your hydraulic pressure gauges.
Elena said, her voice steady over the direct comm line.
The ambient pressure out here is going to spike the moment those corporate displacement fields compress the water column. Don't let your joints lock up.
Copy that, Commander.
Vance replied, his loader mech stepping up to the edge of the jagged ravine, a massive, retrofitted plasma cutting torch humming to life in his right mechanical fist.
How about the western ridge covered? The first Goliath rig is breaking the silt layer now. God, those things are ugly.
The Goliath. One was a towering monolith of gray industrial steel, twice the size of Outpost Hadal. Its massive, forward-facing excavation claws were already spinning, creating a violent, turbulent undertow that whipped the surrounding volcanic silt into a blinding storm. High-intensity crimson floodlights flared from its underbelly, casting a bloody glare across the cluster of glowing golden leviathan eggs resting below. Inside the eggs, the neon embryos flared a panicked, erratic violet. The telepathic network inside Elena's mind suddenly filled with a sharp, synchronized cry, a chorus of tiny, frightened minds seeking shelter.
Elena, the red light, it bites. The water is shaking.
Hold the line, little sparks.
Elena sent back, her mental pulse dropping into a hard, rhythmically steady baseline, acting as a human shock absorber for their fear.
Eyes on me. The pack doesn't yield. Sarah, activate the perimeter dampeners now.
Elena ordered. Inside the command deck, Sarah slammed her palm onto the console.
Dampeners online, diverting reactor steam to the defensive grid.
The shockwaves ripped through the deep water, creating a massive, visible ripple that slammed directly into the Goliath 1's localized displacement shields. The corporate vessel groaned, its massive steel frame shuddering violently as its protective bubble flickered, crackled, and died, exposing the raw metal hull to the crushing weight of the trench.
Shields are down on lead vessel.
Eris shouted into the comms.
But they aren't backing off. They're releasing mechanical drone crawlers.
Vance, clear the wall.
Elena barked, pushing her control levers forward.
Don't let a single drone get within 10 meters of the clutch.
With pleasure, ma'am.
Vance's cargo mech lunged forward, his massive plasma cutting torch sweeping through the dark water in a brilliant, searing arc of white-hot energy. The superheated plasma hissed violently against the freezing ocean, instantly vaporizing the water into a blinding trail of steam bubbles as it sliced through 3 drone crawlers at once, sending their shattered, sparking chassis tumbling into the deep ravine. Elena pivoted her mech, using the heavy loading crane mounted to her left shoulder to grab a descending drone right out of the open water. With a brutal twist of her hydraulic controls, she crushed the machine flat, using its mangled frame as a makeshift club to smash another crawler off the rocky ridge. But for every drone they destroyed, 3 more crawled out of the darkness. The sheer numerical weight of the corporate armada was beginning to tell. The Goliath 2 and Goliath 3 were already settling into position above the ridge, their massive extraction claws lowering toward the seabed like giant, steel executioner blades. And then, the cockpit of Elena's mech flashed a critical alarm. A heavy, high-yield tracking laser from the lead corporate ship locked directly onto her chest plates.
Commander, look out!
Vance yelled, but he was already pinned down by a swarm of crawlers chewing through his mech's leg servos. Elena braced herself inside the cockpit, her fingers tightening on the controls as the massive corporate extraction claw swung toward her like a freight train in the dark. She had no shields. She had no military armor. But just as the steel claw was about to flatten her rig into the basalt, a profound, terrifyingly powerful telepathic note shook the very foundations of the trench. Not a crystalline chime, and not a cry for help. It was a low, ancient, planetary rumble of absolute, lethal fury. Chapter 9, The Voice of the Deep. There is a profound difference between a predator that hunts for survival and a mother that protects her young. The former operates on a calculation of energy spent versus nourishment gained. The latter does not calculate. A mother protecting her cradle is an unmitigated force of nature, an absolute variable that recognizes no limits, no fear, and no master. The corporate executives of the Galactic Poaching Syndicate had studied the biology of the Emperor Leviathan for years. They knew its length, its mass, and its estimated power output, but they had only ever analyzed specimens in isolation, stripped of their environment, their family, and their pack. Elena braced for the impact of the Goliath 1's massive extraction claw, but it never came. Instead, the giant steel claw froze mid-swing, suspended in the dark water as the entire trench began to hum. It wasn't a sound heard through the ears. It was a deep, resonant vibration that rattled the titanium teeth of the cargo loaders and caused the reinforced glass of Outpost Hadal to ring like a tuning fork. On the ocean floor, the dormant, deep navy lines along Bertha's 60-meter body didn't just light up. They ignited. A blinding, brilliant wave of cyan and electric gold energy surged from her tail to her crown, illuminating the entire volcanic trench in a stark, cold daylight. Her 4 massive eyes snapped open, no longer a dull, exhausted yellow, but a burning, incandescent gold that pierced through the murky silt like twin searchlights. The telepathic link inside Elena's mind didn't just ring. It screamed with the voice of an angry god.
You dare touch the seed of the deep.
Bertha didn't rise slowly. With a single majestic sweep of her massive, armored tail, she launched herself into the water column with terrifying speed. The sheer displacement of water created an oceanic undertow that ripped Vance's cargo mech off its feet, sending him sliding across the basalt floor. The colossal Leviathan slammed directly into the side of the Goliath 1. The lead corporate vessel, a towering fortress of mining tech, was crushed like an empty soda can in a human fist. Bertha's long, elegant tendrils, now glowing with superheated cyan light, wrapped around the vessel's primary engine block, melting through the reinforced alloy casings within seconds. With a brutal, twisting motion, she ripped the engine block clean out of the hull, casting the dead, sparking wreckage of the ship into the freezing darkness of the deep ravine.
My God!
Eris whispered from the command deck, his face illuminated by the brilliant gold flares outside the window.
She's not just defending. She's hunting.
The remaining 5 Goliath rigs immediately panicked. The cold, synthesized corporate broadcasts were replaced by the frantic, terrified screams of pilot chatter over the open channels.
Lead ship is gone. It's gone. The shield did nothing.
All units, retreat. Reverse thrusters to maximum. Break the thermocline.
It's below us. Oh God, it's below us.
Bertha swept through the dark blue water like a ghost, her bioluminescent patterns flickering off and on, rendering her practically invisible in the pitch-black void until she was already on top of her prey. She breached beneath the Goliath 2, her massive, armored snout ramming the underbelly of the rig with enough force to shatter its structural spine. As the ship split in two, she whipped her tail, sending a massive, high-pressure kinetic shockwave through the water that slammed the Goliath 3 directly into the rock face of the trench, burying it under a sudden, massive landslide of volcanic basalt. Inside her cockpit, Elena watched the absolute devastation in silent, breathless awe. But as the remaining 3 corporate vessels fired their emergency thrusters, desperate to escape the gravity of Trench 9, Bertha suddenly stopped her pursuit. She pivoted in the water column, her giant golden eyes turning back toward the seabed. The 9 eggs were completely untouched, nestled safely in the warm thermal plume of Vent 4. Bertha drifted down, her colossal body moving with a slow, protective grace as she coiled her long, massive tail around the entire nursery, creating an unyielding, armored wall of muscle between her babies and the open ocean. She rested her massive head right on the basalt lip, her giant eyes focusing on the 2 tiny, battered human cargo loader mechs standing guard beside her cradle.
The dark is quiet again, little sparks.
Bertha's voice drifted into Elena's mind, tired, but filled with a profound, unshakable maternal warmth.
The pack has held the line.
Elena let out a long, shuddering breath, her hands finally relaxing on her control levers. She raised her mech's heavy hydraulic hand, pressing the metal claw gently against Bertha's massive snout in a silent, mutual gesture of victory.
Yeah, we did, Bertha.
Elena whispered over the comms.
We held the line.
But from the command deck, Sarah's voice broke through the radio, tight, serious, and completely sober.
Commander, we have a problem. The corporate fleet is retreating, but they just initiated a wideband, orbital-class transmission. They've logged the exact coordinates of this trench, and they've classified Bertha as a sector threat. The Galactic Directorate is going to send a full military blockade fleet to reclaim this sector.
Elena's expression hardened behind her golden visor. She looked at Bertha, and then down at the 9 glowing, innocent baby leviathans pulsing in the warm current.
Let them come,
Elena said, her voice carrying the cold, unyielding weight of the basalt beneath her feet.
They think they're coming to claim an asset. They don't realize they're starting a war with the neighborhood.
Chapter 10. The Cavalry of the Deep. If the galaxy had learned anything from the dry, bloody archives of human history, it was this. Humans will bicker, split into corporate factions, and fight over resources for centuries. But the moment an outside force threatens an Earth-native boundary, the moment someone tries to bully a human crew on their home turf, those fractures vanish. The Galactic Poaching Syndicate had calculated the cost of a military standoff with a retired commander and 3 scientists. What they failed to factor in was the long memory of the United Earth Defense Fleet, and a navy that does not take kindly to corporate raiders trespassing in their backyard. Inside the command deck, the air was thick. Elena had refused to step out of her heavy combat hardsuit, sitting at the edge of the tactical table with her helmet resting on her knee. Next to her, Eris was rubbing his eyes, while Sarah kept her eyes glued to the structural integrity displays of the trench. Outside, the cozy golden glow of the 9 Leviathan eggs remained warm and steady. Bertha lay coiled around them like an unyielding mountain of obsidian and cyan fire, her massive eyes occasionally blinking as she watched the water column above. She was recovering her strength, but she knew, and Elena knew, that another 30 heavy mining rigs would be too much for a single mother to fight alone.
They've crossed the 500-meter mark.
Sarah whispered, her voice tight.
It's the Syndicate's heavy division. 3 orbital drop assault frigates, retrofitted for deep water deployment. They aren't just mining rigs this time, Commander. They're carrying high-yield acoustic disruptors. If they fire those down here, the shockwaves will collapse the egg's membranes instantly.
Elena's jaw tightened. She reached for her helmet.
Vance, get back to the loaders. We're going to have to intercept them in the mid-water column. If we can damage their transducer arrays before they deploy.
Elena, that's a suicide run.
Eris said, his voice unusually soft, devoid of his usual dry humor.
Their point defense lasers will cook your hardsuit before you get within 50 meters.
Then I'll die warm.
Elena said, her voice dropping into a hard, flat line. Before Elena could seal her helmet, the red targets on the tactical holotable didn't just flicker. They were violently displaced by 6 massive, blue and gold icons dropping straight through the ceiling of the map. These icons weren't descending slowly. They were dropping like meteors, A voice broke through the emergency channel. It wasn't the cold, synthesized tone of a corporate bureaucrat, nor was it the panicked chatter of a poacher. It was a crisp, booming, professional human voice, carrying the unmistakable, gravelly authority of a Navy admiral.
This is Admiral Marcus Vance of the United Earth Third Fleet, aboard the heavy-class carrier, Gorgon. To the unauthorized corporate vessels currently violating Earth territorial waters, you are in direct violation of Sector Defense Code 44 Alpha.
Corporal Vance's head snapped up, a massive, disbelief-fueled grin slowly spreading across his face.
No way. Uncle Marcus.
The radio transmission didn't stop. It grew louder, broadcasting on a frequency that bypassed every corporate jamming signal in the sector.
Our passive arrays have logged your weapons lock on an Earth Directorate research outpost and its civilian personnel. Be advised, we have just deployed 6 heavy atmosphere destroyer escorts. We are currently locking our high-velocity kinetic railguns onto your engine blocks. You have exactly 30 seconds to cut your power, blow your ballast, and ascend for boarding. If you do not comply, we will test how well your corporate hulls withstand 50-ton tungsten slugs at terminal velocity. Out.
Through the floor-to-ceiling glass of the command deck, the darkness of the upper trench was suddenly shattered by the brilliant, stark white searchlights of the United Earth Navy. 3 massive, slab-sided military vessels, painted in the dark gray and gold of the Earth Defense Force, descended through the thermocline. Unlike the clumsy, industrial corporate rigs, these ships were sleek, bristling with heavy point defense turrets, kinetic launch tubes, and massive, thick-plated armor designed to withstand both orbital combat and the crushing weight of the deep. They didn't slide into the trench, they dropped directly between the descending Syndicate fleet and the geothermal vent, forming an impenetrable steel wall of military muscle. Outside, Bertha let out a low, deeply curious click, her giant eyes reflecting the pristine white lights of the human warships.
Elena, more of your pack has arrived.
Bertha's mind rumbled, the telepathic link filled with a sudden, profound sense of safety.
They smell of iron and thunder.
Elena looked up at the massive hull of the Gorgon hovering directly above them, a slow, fiercely proud smile breaking across her face.
Yes, they do, Bertha.
Elena projected back, her heart swelling with the sheer, unadulterated relief of a soldier whose division had finally arrived.
They're our heavy armor, and they don't like trespassers.
On the tactical map, the red icons were retreating so fast they practically ran into each other on the way up, pursued closely by the tight, aggressive tracking loops of the Navy destroyers. The command deck of Outpost Hadal erupted into cheers. Eris threw his clipboard into the air, laughing hysterically, while Sarah hugged her console. Vance slammed his fist against the bulkhead, letting out a wild, triumphant yell. Elena picked up the comms receiver, her voice filled with a warm, teasing humor as she patched directly through to the flagship.
Admiral Marcus.
Elena said, leaning back against the console.
You're about 5 minutes late for the party, but we appreciate the escort.
A deep, hearty laugh boomed over the speaker.
Commander Elena, my nephew told me you were running a quiet research post down here. He didn't mention you'd gone and adopted a Category S Megafauna and her entire family. The Board of Admiralty is going to have a headache trying to file the environmental paperwork for this one.
Elena looked out the window, where the 9 baby leviathans were now swimming in joyous, glowing circles around the massive, protective hull of the Navy carrier, entirely unafraid of the giant machine.
Tell the board they can file it under Local Neighborhood Association rules, Admiral.
Elena smiled, her eyes locking onto the tiny baby leviathan pressing its glowing snout against the glass.
Because this cradle is officially closed to the public.
Chapter 11, The Treaty of Trench 9. When the United Earth Navy drops anchor in your backyard, bureaucracy tends to move with surprising speed. The Galactic Poaching Syndicate didn't just lose their vanguard, they lost their corporate charter in the Sol sector. Within 48 hours, Earth's Admiralty Board, backed by the sheer physical leverage of the heavy carrier Gorgon, declared Trench 9 a sovereign environmental sanctuary. Corporate claims were torn up. The basalt was declared protected ground. And for the first time in centuries, the deepest abyss on Earth belonged entirely to those who lived within it. Inside the primary command deck, the atmosphere was completely transformed. The stark red emergency lighting was gone, replaced by the soft, warm golden glow of the station's ambient lights. A massive platter of freshly baked, golden brown cinnamon rolls sat on the main tactical table, filling the room with a heavenly sweet aroma that defied the extreme pressures of the ocean outside. Admiral Marcus Vance sat in a comfortable deck chair, holding a steaming mug of hot chocolate in one hand and a half-eaten pastry in the other, a look of absolute bliss on his rugged face.
I'll admit, Commander.
Marcus chuckled, gesturing with his pastry toward the viewport.
When my nephew told me he was stationed at a low-key research outpost, I didn't expect to find 5-star bakery service or a private Leviathan guard. My officers on the Gorgon are practically begging to be reassigned down here.
Elena leaned against the glass viewport, a genuine, relaxed smile on her face. She was finally out of her heavy combat rig, wearing her comfortable navy sweater.
The local rules are simple, Admiral. You protect the cradle, and you get a share of the kitchen. Vance here does most of the heavy lifting when it comes to eating the experimental batches anyway.
Hey, I'm a critical quality assurance tester, ma'am.
Vance protested from the console, though his mouth was half full of cinnamon roll, drawing a hearty laugh from the Admiral. Through the floor-to-ceiling glass, the deep blue water was illuminated by a spectacular display of light. Bertha's 9 eggs had hatched. The tiny baby Emperor Leviathans, now officially named the Hadal Clutch, were no longer confined to their translucent shells. They were about the size of a human, their sleek, transparent armor plates pulsing with vibrant, playful neon cyan and warm gold. They tumbled and spun through the warm thermal plumes of Vent 4, chasing each other in joyful, looping arcs like glowing underwater kites. As the crew watched, one of the bolder babies drifted right up to the thick glass. It tilted its head, its large, curious golden eyes locking onto Elena. It pressed its smooth snout against the pane, letting out a tiny, high-pitched click purr that translated in Elena's mind as a warm wave of pure affection.
Little Spark, look, I can swim fast. The cold doesn't bite anymore.
Elena placed her palm flat against the glass, matching the baby's snout.
I see you, little one.
She projected back, her mental voice filled with a quiet, maternal pride.
You're doing great. The whole ocean is yours now.
Outside, Bertha lay resting on the basalt floor, her massive 60-meter form a solid, protective wall of obsidian muscle. She watched her young play with a slow, content sweep of her giant tail. She looked up at the massive, dark gray hull of the Gorgon hovering in the midwater column, and then back down to the tiny humans inside the glass dome.
The pack is strong, Elena.
Bertha's deep, ancient voice rumbled softly in her mind.
The skyships are loud, but they carry the same fire as your heart. We are safe.
We'll always keep you safe, Bertha.
Elena promised. Dr. Eris stepped up next to Elena, a laser pointer in hand. With a grin, he clicked the red dot onto the glass pane. Instantly, 3 baby leviathans scrambled over each other, their tiny flippers paddling frantically as they chased the little red light across the viewport, completely ignoring their status as future planetary apex predators.
See?
Eris laughed, nudging Elena.
I told you, doesn't matter how big they get. Space dragons or house cats, humans can pack bond with absolutely anything.
Sarah walked over, holding a digital tablet displaying the official sanctuary charter signed by the United Earth Council.
It's official, Commander. Trench 9 is off limits to all commercial traffic. Outpost Hadal has been designated the permanent scientific guardian of the sector. We're staying.
Elena looked around the room, at Vance and the Admiral sharing a plate of pastries, at Sarah and Eris laughing as they played with the newborns, and finally out at the majestic, peaceful Leviathan resting in the warm blue depths. The battle for Trench 9 was over. The neighborhood was secure, and the deep waters of the abyss had never felt so much like home.